welcome to the Lululoves Crochet Podcast, episode 43. My name is Emma, and this is my podcast all about crochet, crafts, and books. That's usually about it. So I hope you're all well. The children have gone back to school, finally. It felt like the never-ending holiday. But they've all gone back and things are slowly getting back to some sort of routine, which I have missed. I'm not one for routines generally, but I have missed, just being able to get things done, I think. So, yes. Anyway, I hope you all are well and staying safe. I've actually got lots to show you, but lots of little things, bits and bobs that I had that needed to be finished, and a couple of little new projects that I started just for something to do, really, something different to do. I felt I had lost my crojo, I suppose, a bit over the summer. I didn't really feel like picking up many of my projects, quite frankly. So I have started another couple of little projects, and I found that always really helps get me back in gear. So I'll show you those. And then I've got a few new things to talk about, some quite exciting things to show you. So, okay, let's get started with some finished items. And the ones I have are very small, but I did actually finish the little bucket hat that I was working on for Lulu. I've done the hand stitching. I'll put all the links to everything mentioned in the show notes. So yes, I just needed to finish the embroidery. I have done it, and I've done some. I mean, the embroidery is shocking. I definitely need to practice. Let me see if I can find a relatively decent daisy here to show. Oh, I mean, there's not much to choose from. This one looks fairly okay. So I've done the daisies, and then the little French knots. That black is going to wash the camera out in a minute. The little, just a little French knot there on each of the centres. So anyway, she is really happy with it. That's all that matters. I definitely need to practice those embroidery stitches, especially on the yarn. I found it quite hard, but yeah, that was a fun little project. So that one's finished. We're going to call that done, and she's been wearing that, so that's really lovely. Then the next little finished item are a collection of toadstools, and I came across the most beautiful little patterns for these on Instagram, and it was on Katie's page, and I think she's Thor's by the Cottage. Thor's by Cottage. Have a look. Thor's Big Cottage. Or Thor's by Cottage. Anyway, I absolutely love Katie's work, especially her amigurumis. So she had posted a beautiful picture, I'll pop it up here, of her little toadstool mushroom pattern, and it's a free pattern on her blog. So I went over at the weekend, it wasn't weekend just gone, it was the one before, and made up some toadstools, and the pattern is beautiful. I'll just show you this. I'll show you the red one. Katie did hers in a selection of pinks and beiges, which just up my street, but I did want to do a little red one because I thought that these, sorry, it's got a little hair on it. I thought that these would make really beautiful Christmas tree decorations, and I have sort of red decorations, red and gold and silver, sort of more, I suppose, those sort of Scandinavian colours. So I made one for myself for my Christmas tree, and then I thought I might make some more as little Christmas gifts. So they're beautiful, but look at this. So this is the toadstool. Okay, first of all, it's gorgeous, but look, oh, the light's so bad today. I've had to put the light on, and it does really wash things out. Can you see the underside of that toadstool? Isn't that beautiful? And if you sort of have them sort of flipping a bit, you know, facing a bit up and down like that, you can see the underside of that toadstool. And I just think that is so creative of her to include those little details. So that's beautiful. So and the blog post gives directions to make both styles. So you've got the sort of rounded cap and then the more pointy cap. So believe it or not, they've got the same size base. I think I must have gone up a bit more with one of them because this one looks a bit higher, but they have the same base and this bit, and then you just work the caps differently. Let's have a look. We'll do that. So there we go. So there's the tall capped one, and again it's got that lovely underside, which I just think just makes it look just so beautiful. Really, they just really captured my attention. So there's that one, and then I've got another flat couch there, and again they're just decorated with some little French knots. And actually, like I said, I haven't done any embroidery for a long time, so between that and the little French knots that I was doing for the hat, the daisies, actually I think I've got my French knots down now. Is that what they're called, French knots? I think so. But they're just lovely, and they really show out on the little red ones. So I'm going to find a way to hang these and maybe give those as little tree decorations just as gifts, because they're so quick to make and they're really enjoyable, and you only actually have to stuff the bottom part actually. And I found, because I did stuff the top of this a bit, but it didn't sit right, so actually you sort of rely on it not being stuffed so that you can, you know, get the best of it, I think. And then I don't think I even stuffed the top of this one in the end. So yeah, they were really, really, really enjoyable to make. There they are. The pattern, like I said, it's a free pattern. I will pop the link in the blog post for you. But like I said, Katie's work is just beautiful, always. So yeah, I really loved those. And I just used I've got loads of leftovers, paint box cottons, all different colours, and I actually did have the colours that Katie suggested as well, so that was good. So that's that. I'm racing through it today. And then the last finished crochet item I have to show you is a swatch. So I guess that's a slight cheat in one way, but it was quite a complicated swatch. So I will start at the beginning, and that I was sent a copy of a new book by Esme Crick. It's Mosaic Crochet Workshop, and David and Charles very kindly sent me a copy to have a look at before its publication. So the book I think is due out on September the 14th, and I was intrigued to try it, mainly because I love Esme's work. She's I think Red Sparrow Crochet over on Instagram. I'll pop the links in, and I am always really fascinated by her lovely work, but I've always been a bit, I suppose, a bit scared of it really, just because I'm not overly keen on colour work anyway. I always get in a tangle. I do find it quite frustrating, so and I think that makes me slow, so but yes, like I said, I've been intrigued by the book, so I wanted to have a look, and it is beautiful. The book contains 12 patterns for different mosaic throws. Let me give you a close-up of the cover there. Hopefully you can see that beautiful on the front. And they're just gorgeous. Now, I won't show you too much of the inside of the book because, you know, there are only 12 designs, but I will show you the page for the swatch I did. I have done, like I said, I've done a thorough review of this book. So if you would like to see more or read more about it, I will pop the link to that below as well. That's up on the blog. But I will show you, if I can show you without. Anyway, so this is the blanket. This is called, I don't know that you're going to be able to see it on the camera anyway. It's called the Dutch Houses Throw, and I really wanted to try it. It is one of the intermediate projects, so that probably was a bit silly of me to jump straight in, but it's just stunning. So I had a go. The book is really good, and if you do get it, I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but I quite often, if I don't have time, I will flick through the beginning parts of the book and just skip straight to the patterns. But in this case, I definitely would recommend reading the first couple of pages where Esme talks you through understanding mosaic crochets. There's a couple of new terms there that you might not be used to, and she also talks you through and photographs making a swatch for each blanket. And what I like about this book really is all the multiples for each design have been included, and that's something that I like to see, because I think if you want to amend a project or resize a project, it is quite useful. You know, not all of us are very good at getting gauge or even taking gauge, so that can be really useful, and Esme has done that for every single pattern in this book. So what that means is you can make up a swatch, and I actually recommend you do make up a swatch, to be honest with you, because a blanket's quite a big commitment in time, and if you don't love it, then... So this is my swatch for the Dutch houses. Now I do wish that I had picked slightly more contrasting colours, and Esme does have a chapter in her book on picking colours, but I just had some scrap yarn to hand, so I sort of made a start with what I had. And I mean, you can still see the houses. There we go, is that better light? I mean, that's beautiful, isn't it? Now, this is the first time I've ever done mosaic crochet, and I was really surprised. So there are a couple of things that I think threw me. One is when you are working your stitches, so with mosaic crochet, you don't carry the unused colour along like you would for, say, tapestry. You only end up with, you know, the two ends. You end up with a pink end and a grey end in this instance. So you sort of work chains, and then you work over those chains in the next rows, in the rows above. So I don't know if you can see. So this is the front, but then this is the back. So this, I think, surprised me for some reason, because you don't encapsulate the stitches. You crochet in front of the chains, which means you do have you have these floats. I suppose in knitting they would be floats, wouldn't they? Those are the worst of the floats for that pattern. I feel like that probably is a little bit of a catch hazard. Maybe I should have put an extra stitch in to hold it. You know, down the bottom you don't notice it at all really, but the floats are all there. So you can put your fingers through them. So all the blankets are one-sided, so I think that was the thing that surprised me the most. Is that usual for mosaic crochet, or is that just something that Esme's done for her book? Let me know if you've tried it, because like I said, I've never tried it before. I was really pleased with the outcome. You know, there's no pull, I mean, the patterns are so well written. It was very easy to understand. You know, I did need to pay attention quite a bit. I've never done it before, but I went straight into that intermediate project and I had no trouble at all really. So yeah, and I still think, you know, even though you don't have a pattern on the back, it still looks nice and neat. So I'm just not 100% sure about my, maybe there's a bit in the book that told me I should have done something with those and I didn't read it. but I did check back at the front of the book because I felt like I was doing it wrong, because I think naturally I wanted to encase those chain stitches and not leave them loose, but Esme says no, you work in front of the chains. So I think maybe it gives you a neater finish because you don't see that pink colour, for example, peeping through when you're on a grey section. Sometimes, you know, when you do a tapestry, you notice that second colour running through when it's not in use, and you really don't get that in this, and I think that gives you a really sort of defined pattern. So yeah, I think that's probably the beauty of this. So like I said, the book is out on the 14th of September. If you would like to try it, there are some beautiful patterns in there, and for every throw, there are 12 throw designs. For every throw there is a spin-off project, so a smaller project made with the same design, and Esme also gives alternate colour suggestions. So for example, for the Dutch houses, the spin-off project is a wall hanging there, so that's really good, and she, you know, gives you the starting chains to do that. But this is basically one pattern repeat, so I used the stitch guide and the pattern repeat given at the beginning to create a swatch. So from that I'd be able to work out how big my blanket was going to be if I wasn't, you know, if I wasn't getting gauge, and tension is given. So yeah, I'm really pleased. I mean, I definitely want to try more. I think actually that would make a lovely wall hanging just with 3. I think that's quite a good size for a wall hanging. So I'll definitely be doing something with that, and I will be trying some more of the patterns. You know, they are just beautiful. If Esme's put any more photos up, I'll pop a couple up on the screen for you just to have a look at some of the designs. But yes, so that's lovely. That one's been published by David and Charles and out September. So that is the last thing that I managed to finish, and actually I did work this up over a few evenings. It wasn't something that I could just sit and do straight away. I guess because I was sort of learning as I was going along. So I think that is everything. And then I just brought up for a work in progress, I have brought up my mini blanket because I do have some works in progress, but 2 of them I can't show at the moment. One of them is my tank top, which is all sewn together, but I haven't finished the ribbing, so there's no point in showing you that again. So yes, I was a bit low on I think because I've been doing these smaller projects, I was a bit low on works in progress that I could show. So I thought I would bring up my mini blanket. We haven't had an appearance for a while, have we? And I have been adding more to it. It's going to be very hard to show you. Let's just move it around the screen and hope you get the gist. Oh, now the camera's flashing at me. Just a minute. Okay, so here we go. So I have continued to add. I really just picked this up again in the past week or so. I think now the weather is turning a bit cooler, although we did have an odd couple of really hot days in September, didn't we? It sort of threw me a bit. So I can't even see what bits are new. I mean, well, the bits with the ends hanging. But I've got to a point now where I think it's long enough I think I'm happy enough with the length of it. So what are we at? 2, 4, 2, 6. So I'm 12. So I think we're looking at 12 by 12 there. And I think now I'm going to stop working the length and just close that gap because I'm doing it in a sort of triangular fashion. So I'm just going to work my way up. So I think I'm over halfway now on that, and I would like to get that finished really in the next sort of couple of weeks, more likely month. couple of months, because I would like this one finished by the end of the year. You know, I do like to have a blanket on the go, but I am a terrible blanket maker, and that it just takes me an age. So it'd be nice to get that one finished, and then I'll be able to start a new one next year. I mean, I don't need more than one blanket a year, so it's fine. So that is it crochet wise. I've got some new things to talk about, some exciting things, but I think first of all I will talk to you about the work I've been doing with Skillshare. So if you've been watching for the past few episodes, you know that Skillshare have very kindly been sponsoring these videos, and I've had a really good opportunity to go through and explore this Skillshare site. So if you haven't heard me talk about Skillshare before, it's an online creative community where you can take classes that range from all sorts of subjects, from creative writing, photography, to knitting, baking, starting your Etsy store, going freelance, mindfulness, motivation, so many classes. There really is just something for everyone, really, and every time that I've been on there, I have found something to suit a mood or something that really fires my, you know, creative energy. So I've really enjoyed using the site the past, well, I think 3 or 4 months now I've been working with Skillshare. So yeah, so it's been really lovely. I've really learned a lot, and yeah, I've really enjoyed all the courses, all the classes that I've taken. But it's been the summer holidays here, and I really wanted to do something with Lulu. So we actually did a couple of classes. We did a polymer jewellery class. I will put all the links from the classes we've done, but one I really wanted to talk to you about today was a really simple class. It was a 30-minute class, and most of their classes are under 60 minutes. But this one was a 30-minute class, and it was called, I've got it written down here. Ooh. It was called Happy Houseplants, Caring for Your Plants. And that was by Chris Satch. Now, Lulu has taken to looking after lots and lots of cacti and succulent plants. And she's been given lots of houseplants as well recently by various people. One of her little friends gave her one the other day, and my her nan also gave her a plant. So she really has got a sort of windowsill for her. I'll pop some pictures up. Anyway, they're not thriving, and I have never been particularly green fingered. So I do also have a couple of geraniums that are really struggling, that have been sort of potted, and they're really struggling. And so I thought it'd be a really useful class for us both to do, and it was so clear and so good. But it mostly focuses on succulents and cactus. I think there's some air plants in there as well. But yeah, so it really went through the troubleshooting. You know, what's happening to your plants if they're looking like this or they're looking like this. And I thought we were overwatering some of the cactus, because they don't need a lot of water at all, do they? But actually it turns out that I think they need repotting. And I think that's been my problem, actually. And I don't know why it's never occurred to me before. But yes, so he does go through when to repot your cactus, when to water, troubleshooting, how to plant them up, you know, what sort of soil, what sort of feed. It was really interesting, because we were just mostly leaving them in the windowsill, and some of them are a couple of years old now. So, and actually I think Chris did suggest that actually they might need repotting every year, if not every other year. So we are now on a mission to repot all our houseplants into bigger pots, and I actually think that's definitely the problem with my geraniums. Yes, I'm thinking about it. Makes a lot of sense. So anyway, that was the perfect class for Lulu and I to do together. We had so much fun, and she took loads of notes, and hopefully we will now have some thriving houseplants. So I just thought I'd mention that, because that, you know, I know that I've spoke a lot about their sort of business classes and the you know, the planning and the Etsy stores, but I think that was just a really fun one for us to have done together. So Skillshare also have a lovely offer for my subscribers, and that is the first 1,000 people who click the link in the description bar can access 1 free month of Skillshare Premium. So that's a 1 3 months trial of Skillshare Premium. That's all their classes, all their content. You can take as many classes as you like. So yes, you know, I've loved working with them. I've enjoyed all the classes that I've taken. I found them to be really useful, really creative. And I like that I can do them at my own pace, but still access the feedback of the tutors if I need it. So for me, it's been perfect. But as always, no pressure. If you are interested in that, or that's something that you would, you know, feel like you might be interested in, click the link and have a look. So I think that is it for this month. Crochet Skillshare. I'm going to show you some new goodies. I'm really excited about these. So the very, very lovely Lindsay from, just a minute, the camera's flashing at me. So the very lovely Lindsay from Lottie and Albert has launched a new crochet subscription box. It's called Curate Crochet Box. If you follow Lindsay on Instagram, you will already have seen this. And she very kindly offered to send me one to have a look at. Of course, I said yes. I love Lindsay's designs. I think she's just got a really fresh, modern, clean take on crochet, and I think, you know, makes it really accessible. So I absolutely adore her work. Anyway, I've already started a swatch for my project. So anyway, this is the box. So I think you can sign up for monthly. I will pop the link to the website in the show notes. So this is, I think this is September's box. So I'm not sure if you can still sign up for this box or not. I'll have to have a look. So inside the box you get a copy of the pattern, which this month is a lovely Solomon's Knot crochet cushion. I'll pop a picture here because I don't actually have, I have a digital copy of the pattern. I don't actually have a printed copy. But it's been designed by, I think Lindsay's got a guest designer this month, and it's Crafting by Lucy, I think, whose designs are lovely as well. So win-win. Inside, I've already done a little video on this over on Instagram. I'm not sure if I saved it or not, but let's have a look. So there we go, it's beautifully packaged. Inside you've got 4 balls of the yarn for your project, and this month it's Drops Cotton Light in this lovely mustardy colour. There is, and I'm really pleased about this because I'm always, you know, when you make crochet cushions, you quite often need a backer, and so Lindsay has very cleverly remembered to pop one in her pack. So that's just a little cushion cover, little zip up one, because obviously the Solomon's Knot is an open work stitch. And then it also comes with the crochet hook for the project. So that's a 4mm crochet hook. It feels quite nice. I worked with it. I've already worked my swatch up, no problem. And then this little gadget, which is for the Solomon's Knot technique, I believe. Like I said, I haven't got that far with it yet. So there we go. And it's been engraved with the Curate logo there. Look, isn't that lovely? And finally, tiny little pouch with some stitch markers, and these are just beautiful. I think I was very excited by these because they come with lovely little natural gemstones. So you've just got 3 tiny stitch markers. Let me see if I can show you. There's one. I mean, I'll be lucky if I get to keep these because Lulu just loves crystals or anything like that, so I'll probably lose these. Another tiny little, almost like a quartz there, look. And then lastly, a lovely little, like a jade coloured stone. I don't know what stone that is. Aren't they beautiful? Really lovely, really delicate, right up my street. And then you get a printed copy of the pattern. I think you can also do a digital subscription if you just want the patterns. You'd have to have a look at the website. Like I said, I'll link it, but I'm pretty sure Lindsay's now offering that as an option. So I've started my swatch. Ooh. There we go. And I am ready to roll the minute I get time. So that is on my list of things to do, but I do have quite a few works in progress at the moment, but I am excited to try that Solomon's knot stitch. I feel a bit more confident now that I've managed the Mosaic crochet. So I definitely look forward to having a go at that. But I've been following the Curate Crochet Box Instagram account, and every month the patterns have just been gorgeous. Really, really, really gorgeous. So that's that. And then lastly, I pre-ordered this book and it came, I think it came last week, so it came the day that it came out. And I think I do have actually a copy of the Harry Potter knitting book, but they've brought out an official Harry Potter crochet book. Now it says 24 official crochet projects inspired by the Harry Potter films. It is an absolute beautiful book. I think this would make a lovely Christmas present, dare I say it. It's by Lee Sartori. I think I do follow on Instagram. I'll put the link again if I do, but I mean, even just look at that that colour worked blanket. Lovely. And some of these projects, I must admit, definitely not for the beginner. Let me show you a couple. So we've got some amigurumi, we've got some costumes, fantastic fashion, keepsakes and curios. So some of them are very much based on items that are within the film, and some of them are inspired by the film. You've got a range of levels, so you've got beginner, intermediate and advanced. I won't lie, did struggle to see a pattern that I felt I would have tackled as a beginner. But so just look at this. So here we've got, I'm sorry, you're going to get the line. I'll try. Let me just turn it off a minute. Okay, let's try this. No, now we've got the window, but there we go. There is the sorting hat. I mean, look at that. I don't know, even I'm a bit scared to start that. I do really want to though. That looks like it has been crocheted around something. Yeah, so it also uses a roll of craft wire to give it that texture. It looks amazing. I mean, yeah, very, very talented designer who. Oh, there's forks. The phoenix. Look at that. So much detail in these projects. I mean, even Professor McGonagall's animagus. Look at that. Incredible. Really, really incredible. I'm so happy to have this book. Whether or not I should be starting anything soon, because, for example, the pattern for that, the cat is, hopefully if I do, So it's here, these 2 pages, these 2 pages, this page, these 2 pages. There we go. So hopefully you can't see any of that, but that's a lot of work. Yeah, and then instructions for assembly. We've got a mandrake, and there are also really lovely pictures from the movie and illustrations, and little sort of snippets which I really like. There's a head wig. That looks lovely as well. There's obviously Dobby. Just amazing, absolutely amazing. Let me see if I can find something a bit more on the simple. So the costumes are lovely as well. There's some gorgeous jumpers that have been based on items. Look at that, that's all colour work. That have been based on items that have been worn in the film. You've got, obviously, you've got the Hogwarts scarves. I think they look to me like tapestry crochet because they look very much like knit. Yes, so not tapestry, Tunisian. So yeah, that's a Tunisian crochet project. They look just like knitted scarves. Really, really lovely. And look at this. I love this. So this is Ron's 3 Broomsticks cardigan. Look at that. That's amazing. We've got hats and gloves, Hermione's hat and gloves, Luna's cardigan. We've got a poncho, like a black hooded poncho. And I love these, Bertie Bott's Every Flavour socks. Look at those. I feel like I need to make those. They're just brilliant. They look fantastic as well. More jumpers. So there are some really, I just think you get a lot of projects for your money with this book. You know, I've already skipped through about 4 jumper projects there. Now, the lovely crochet blanket, the burrow blanket. So, and I love that that's been made with like a tweedy yarn. So that looks really nice. So that would probably be a beginner. Yes, so that's a beginner project. And yeah, there aren't many beginner projects. Like I said, it's quite detailed work. So I mean, for a Harry Potter lover, it would be great. I probably wouldn't give it to someone who's new to crochet, unless they want something to aspire to or just want to be inspired. But look at this. This is the Grim Doily. Oh, the tea leaves. I love that. So I'm so happy to have it. When I will get round to making anything from it is another guess. There's some cauldron potion baskets there. They look fairly simple. And the golden snitch baby blanket is lovely. It's got some pom-poms on the end there. So that is gorgeous. If I get time, I will do a review for the blog for that one. So that one is gorgeous. It's a beautiful book. I really recommend that for anyone who loves crochet or Harry Potter. I'm just really happy to have it in my collection. Yes, I hope to make something from it. I'd love to make that sorting hat, quite frankly, but anyway, so that one is out now. I bought mine from Amazon. I think it's just come out, so yeah, really excited to have that. And then we are pushing on a bit now, so I won't talk to you too much about books. I finished reading the Mercies. I've sent that one back to the library. Pop a picture here. That was the book on the witchcraft trials in, I think it was like a little, I feel like it was like a Norwegian island. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yes, and I think it's roughly based on a true stories of witch trial that happened in an Arctic fishing village. After all the men were lost at sea in a terrible storm, and the women were left to sort of take control of the village really, and learn to do all the trades that the men had been doing. and they a witch hunter sort of comes from Scotland, is sent over to sort of hunt out the witches, and it's very beautifully written. The story really focuses around his wife. He sort of marries a young Belgian woman en route, and she obviously doesn't realise who he is or what he does, and she befriends the women. So there's a nice sort of relationship story between her and another woman, a younger woman. But I will say that it was really slow going. All the action happened in the last sort of 100 pages. And I found that there was nothing really new about the witch trials themselves. If you've read any sort of historical fiction based on the witch trials, it's a similar theme. It's just women turning on women, and then the men, you know, get involved, and they basically, persecute these women that are always on the verge of society in some way. You know, they either wear trousers or they their houses are too big, I don't know. So there wasn't a lot new from that perspective, and I was kind of a bit disappointed because it was just it was such a slow build up to that. I think I would have liked to have seen more about the women. You do get that, but I don't know, I just think maybe I need to be reading a different type of book. Anyway, so that was that. I gave it 3 stars. I think 3.5 stars on Goodreads. I enjoyed it, especially towards the end when the pace picked up a bit. I kind of felt like, I thought when I was going into it was going somewhere else, and it didn't. It just went exactly where all the other books go on that subject. And the book I'm currently reading is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This was one of the 12 books that I picked for myself to read this year, so I'm really happy to finally get round to it. I'll read you the blurb. It says, twins, inseparable as children, ultimately choose to live in 2 very different worlds, one black and one white. The Vignes sisters will always be identical, but after growing up together in a small southern black community and running away at age 16, it's not just the shape of their daily lives that is difficult as adults. It's everything, including their racial identities. Many years later, one sister lives with her black daughter in the same southern town she once tried to escape. Across the country, the other secretly passes for white, and her white husband knows nothing of her past. Still, although separated by so many miles and just as many lies, the fates of the twins remain intertwined. What will happen when their own daughters' storylines intersect? Weaving together multiple strands and generations from the deep south to California, from the 1950s to the 1990s, The Vanishing Half is at once a riveting, emotional family story and a brilliant exploration of race, gender and identity, and the lasting influence of the past as it shapes a person's desires and expectations. So that's had really good reviews. I'm really, really happy to finally start it. So, but I've only read a couple of chapters, so I'll let you know how I get on with that in the next podcast. So I have had to restart the camera several times now, so I either need to do a lot of editing or this is going to be a very long podcast. So I'm going to leave it there and just say thank you for watching. I hope you are all well, and I will be back in another couple of weeks with a podcast. Until then, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.